Hi, I'm Bria Bryant, Global CMO at Assembly. We're here at Sport Beach with Shelley Zallis, founder and CEO of the Female Quotient.
I'm so excited to be here with you. I can see
Thank
that both
you.
of us are losing our voices from 4 amazing days of having amazing conversations, and this one is a highlight for me with you.
Good. Well, I want to know a little bit more about the Female Quotient, just for those of you who may not be as familiar. So we'd love for you to let us know a little bit more.
Well, thank you so much. Female Quotient's about 10 years old. We are in the business of equality. I want to say we're in the business of sports. And we have actually the largest global community of women in business across 100 countries. So we have over 5 million women across every industry. Of course, sports being a very important one as well. I feel inclined to say that as I'm here in Stagwell Beach. And we're all about changing the equation and closing the gender gap. And when you hear that, according to the World Economic Forum, it says it'll take over 131 years to close the gender gap, you kind of pause and say, why? We have the data. It's a man-made problem, literally. No, we love all of our leaders. We call them conscious leaders, but it truly is. And when you think about it, like, why should it take 131 years when we've accomplished miraculous things in such a short period of time? From the invention of the internet to the vaccine to putting people on the moon.
Right.
So
exactly.
That's really our mission.
Exactly.
Close the gender gap in the workplace.
It's so important. It's such important work. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So AI is on the tip of everyone's tongue. Again, here at Cannes Lions, we've heard it all year. We've heard it last year. But I would love to know what the Female Quotient is doing in the AI space, and what's one piece of advice you would want younger generations to hear when it comes to using AI?
Yeah. Okay. Well, piece of advice: use it, because it's not going anywhere, and I think it'll be part of just mainstream how we work and how we do business today. And so many people have this fear that it's going to replace humans. It will not replace humans. It'll make us more efficient, and it'll elevate us to the next level. So, bring it. So for any next generation, which are already in it. So I think they could be giving us advice versus the opposite way around.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't be afraid. Get your hands completely dirty in it. Learn all of the amazing powers that AI has, but also realize that, diversity, since I'm in the business of equality, I feel inclined to talk about the inclusive nature of not just coders, but being in the business of AI, and how incredibly important every aspect is, from the data that we input to the designers that are, helping to shape the technology, but also to users that are using it. And so, especially for the young generation that are female across race, age, religion, intersectionality, etc., get in early, because we need our profiles and our voices to be seen, to be heard, and to, most importantly, be represented, so that we have the reflection of the universe in AI, especially generative AI.
Right. Well, speaking of the business of AI, what is the Female Quotient doing? How are you using it?
Well, crazy enough, 10 years ago when I started the company, I actually wrote a phrase called the algorithm for equality, which I had no idea at the time that AI was going to be hot.
Right.
But AI's been here for a long time. And, and I've always known that the profiles of women get lost, when you search just Google for a doctor or lawyer or scientist or astronaut, men, come up. And, a lot of that is because we have not been inputting, all of the data inputs, especially representing women across the board. And so when I wrote the algorithm for equality and created the name of the Female Quotient is an equation, it was to change the algorithm. And the only way to change an algorithm is by ensuring, with a conscious mindset, that we are designing with inclusivity in mind. Because when you design, with inclusivity, you can ensure representation and safety on the other end.
I love that.
Oh my God, thank you.
Oh my gosh. I just
Who
feel
knew?
Yeah,
Who knew
and
AI was going to be where it is today?
Right.
But I mean, even then, it was an issue. And I'm the co-founder of See Her, which we have on the stage over there, and it's all about the accurate and realistic portrayal of girls and women in media and entertainment.
Right.
And now you think about the same thing. See Her in algorithms.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of that matters.
All of it matters. Representation matters. All of it matters. Well, again, thank you for doing this work. It's so inspiring. I mean, all right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about brands and culture. Do you believe that brands can shape culture?
Oh, 100 million%. I mean, 85% purchase decisions made by women, number one. I mean, and so, the whole world of brand and, of course, advertising, but today it's all about storytelling.
Yeah.
And so when you think about shaping narrative,
Right.
and the contextualization and framing of messaging and the power that brands have to be storytellers,
Right.
is remarkable, and it also is a responsibility.
Right.
And so it's not just about putting your brand in front of a consumer to buy, but it also is a reflection of how consumers feel about the brand with how they present themselves. And so, brands define media and have the opportunity to shape media. Media
Yep.
creates culture. And so that is really one of the most amazing powers that we see in brands. And what we're seeing more and more is moving, not away, it's an and, all these new media platforms and storytelling. So brands that can tell stories, and even stories of all these incredible athletes.
Right.
It changes media models.
Right,
And
right,
media
right.
media models influence culture.
Right. So speaking of that, consumers are really at the heart of all of this. And what advice would you give to brands who are looking to build or nurture online communities and, really, drive that authenticity that's gonna bring consumers into their brand and become loyalists and all of those things that brands are really looking for?
I mean, you used the word authenticity. So, I think that's a very important word. Gen Z has a mixed feeling about the word authenticity. It's about being real. Be real.
Right.
Be consistent.
Right.
It's no longer a push world. It's a pull world. So if you're not going to pull and engage your consumers in the way they want to be engaged, and where they want to be engaged, and when they want to be engaged, and how they want to be engaged, and give them the opportunity to engage with you when and how they want,
Right.
you won't be a brand that is going to be near and dear to there won't be heart love.
Yeah.
And what we know very clearly, especially with brands in today's day and age, is if you don't have the love, if you don't have brand love, you won't have brand loyalty.
Yep.
And brand love and brand loyalty come with consistency and being real.
Right.
And being honest.
Yeah.
And I think that is the most important thing, when you don't think about just pushing a message out, but it truly is engaging your audiences, and not just demographically profiling them, but psychographically, behaviographically, and allowing them to pull you
Right.
in the way they want to.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So now I want to know a little more about you. So what would be your motto this year? What's your motto for 2024?
Intentional action. And we have a big sign in front of our Equality Lounge today. It says equality can happen if you want it. So for me, it's all about mindset.
Yeah.
And language matters a lot. People say, "Oh, it was unconscious bias." I'm like, if you say unconscious, you're conscious.
You're conscious of it. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
once you're conscious, you have a choice.
Yep.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that maybe you didn't know. But once you know, you got a choice. You want to do something or not?
Yeah.
Do it or don't.
Right.
That's your option. But this one is fixable.
Yeah, it really is. So last question. What advice would you give to your younger self?
To believe in me. I believe in yourself. If you don't love yourself, no one else will. Oscar Wilde says, be yourself because everyone else is taken.
Yeah.
And, I knew I was always different, in the workplace, and broke barriers, and, always was curious and sought after the possibilities, not the
Right.
status quo.
Right.
And as a result, got my nickname Chief Troublemaker, known to break the rules that make no sense and create new ones. So I think it's believe in yourself
Yes.
and value your strengths, which might be your differences, which to me is the greatest thing in the whole world. You don't need everyone to be the same. You
Right.
become unnecessary if you're all,
Right.
duplications of one
And
another.
there's no fun in that.
Right? And then my best also is Sarah Jessica Parker. She says, I can't attribute this to her. I have to attribute it to her writers, but I'm obsessed with this one, which is trying to be a man is a waste of a woman. That to me is,
Trying to be a man is a waste of a woman.
we need all of us. We need men, we need women.
We do.
And, and I say, let's just call us all conscious leaders. Because if you're in a position of power, use it, pull everyone up, but don't hide your feminine.
Right.
And plenty of men have that too. The
Yeah.
feminine is collaboration and compassion
Right.
and passion and empathy and
Right.
and vulnerability.
Right. Right.
Own that, because I think those are the greatest qualities of leaders today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us here in Sport Beach.
Oh my God, thank you so much.